Okay, let's spend some time now looking at the content for the class. This is where you're going to spend a lot of your time. This is where everything is. This is all of the lecture content, videos, pictures, all of your assignments, the different discussions that you have to participate in, your critiques for classes that are studio-based. So let's start at the top. As we've seen with almost everything so far, there's a filtering system. So when we're in our content, we can filter here. And we can see what is due this week, what is due next week, what is complete, what is not complete, and what has been graded. So you can quickly go through here and see, well, what have I not done yet? I can click on that and see what I haven't done, and then I can kind of make note of what I have to get caught up on. Let's just keep it here for now in all content. We can also search. So if you know you're looking for a particular module in the class, you can search for it. When we scroll down, we'll see all of the content. There will be some classes that have 40, 50, 60 different individual modules, and as you scroll down to the bottom, it might get chopped off at, say, week 7. There will be a button at the bottom of the screen. I don't have one here, but it will show up right in the center of the bottom of the screen that will say Load More. So you click Load More, and it will show you the rest of the content. So now, there is one simple way to start going through your modules. Every week you will have X number of modules to go through. In the very beginning of the class, there's always going to be the getting started, the references, your syllabi, an introduction discussion, a Q&A discussion board, and then from there you will actually get into the individual weekly topics. A really handy way to start going through the content so you're not continually coming back to the content page is to start with the first one. So here we'll start with getting started. And real quick, before I continue, I'm going to point out the differences between some of these. We can see it says getting started, and below that it says completion. Completion is a type of module. This means that in this module, you have to click a button that says, I've done this, and that way it marks it as complete. It's a pass-fail. Most of the time, they do not have a weight, so there is no grade. It's mainly a way for your instructor to know if you are looking at the content so they can make sure that you've paid attention to what you're supposed to be doing. So if it's a completion, usually it's going to be a 0 weight. We can also see other ones that are called discussion. This one will always have a weight. The way discussions work is you have to make an initial post by Wednesday of the week, Wednesday at 11:59 Mountain Standard Time. And then you have to reply to at least 2 of your peers by Sunday at 11:59. The little progress bar here will fill up as you meet those requirements. So the first time you log into the discussion and post your initial reply by Wednesday, this bar will fill up about halfway. When you make your first reply to a student, it'll fill up another 25%. And then when you make your third one, it'll fill up the rest of the way. And then the bar, or not the bar, but the button, the little circle here, will fill in with solid orange. It will not have a grade until your instructor grades it. So it'll just be checked off in orange so you know you've met the requirement for that discussion. And by all means, don't just limit yourself to 3. Go in and be active with your discussion. This is a great way for you to learn from each other, to engage, to further the conversation so that you're diving deeper into the subject matter. It's a great way to expand your knowledge. So don't just rest on your laurels of going in and saying, well, I have to do 1 by Wednesday and 2 by Sunday. Go in there and reply to everybody. Get engaged. Take the bull by the horns and be a really active member in this community. So those are discussions. And then we also can see down here that we'll have uploads. For an upload, this is something that requires you to upload a file. So it could be a Word document. It could be a PDF. It could be a JPEG. It could be any number of different files. It could be videos. It depends on the class. But in these modules, there will be an upload area where you click and drag your file into that area, and it puts your upload. And then you submit it, and then once you've done the submission for the upload, it'll check itself off and fill itself in with orange. That way you know it's done. All of these ones that are white with a checkbox and no orange going around them means that I have done nothing in any of these different modules. So keep that in mind. The main ones you will see through the class will be completions, discussions, and uploads. You may see a test, but tests are not that frequent. The other thing we have at the top level here is we can see our publish date. Think of this as the date it was pushed, the date that you can access this content. So with a lot of classes, you will not be able to access content from week 2 or 3 and beyond until that week comes. And then the other date that's on the right-hand side is the date it's due. So it'll tell you this is due by that date. And once that due date has passed, you will not be able to participate in this module. So you keep track of these due dates. So this is top level. Once you understand what you're looking at here, it's pretty straightforward. Now we can go in and start looking at individual modules, how to complete them, how to upload files, and get through the class.